All right, everyone, welcome back to Talking Dirty with Nana. And we're just going to pretty much dive right in and just jump right into our next power ranking person. Um, but before I do, I just want to reiterate one more time that, all personalities are welcome. So I know this is our first release here, but we're having a lot of fun with it. And I think with more people getting involved, they'll do.
Yeah, I hope you listen to part one because this part two right now it's gonna get spicier near the top.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it here. So we'll just jump right in. We'll just talk about the next team here, where we rank them and why. And of course, we
I think.
stumbled across
Are you looking in the mirror here, Marty?
best looking one in the league, myself.
Oh, we got Marty coming in at number 5 here, folks.
Yeah,
And
so technically,
the algorithm said so.
it was kind of interesting to see
What was your
where.
ranking, Marty?
Yeah, I was gonna say, technically we landed on myself being a 4.5. So Jorge was a 6. Next best is me at 5, which was 4.5. And I was just gonna say, like, this is kind of where me and Hugo had different
Yep.
opinions on,
Yep.
where people ranked, which kind of made things a little bit more interesting. So, where did you have me ranked?
I personally, my information I gave to the nerds with the algorithm is I had you as my third best team.
Yep, and I had myself at 5. So landing on a 4.5. But anyways, we'll just jump right in. So I'll let you talk first.
Yeah, I
Just 'cause
mean,
it's my team.
I like what I see here. I don't think you want to spend too much time on your own team here, Marty. But I love Joe Burrow, who doesn't, and made it to the Super Bowl, and with Aaron Rodgers right behind him. But I think the weapons that Joe Burrow has, obviously Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think they're both going to have good years. That whole offense, I just want a piece of. So I think you're happy going forward, dynasty wise. Joe Burrow is your quarterback of the future. Nothing to complain about there. If you want to defend your boy Joey B, I don't think you need to, but I think he's gonna have a good year.
I think we're beyond that point of me needing to defend him, but I guess
Perfect.
the future will tell what's next for
Yes.
him. But I mean, truthfully speaking, Joe Burrow, obviously, one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the league right now. But I think I just really think next year it's gonna be hard for Cincinnati to, find that same path like
Yeah,
into the playoffs.
it's maybe a
Which
Super
is
Bowl
why
hangover.
this last Super Bowl was so hard on me, which is because I really wanted to win. I don't think they're ever going to make it back.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully
it's interesting. I mean, hopefully
I don't think so.
they prove me wrong, but I guess
Yeah.
we'll see. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I guess truthfully speaking, there's some concern there. Obviously, I can see him retiring in the
Yep.
next few years, and then also on top of that, he just lost Devontae Adams, and I mean, the second best option is.
Yeah, I mean the tough questions here.
I honestly don't. I mean,
Because I think AJ Dillon and
Randall
the
Cobb.
running backs are going to be featured more than the wide receivers. I think he'll have one favorite, maybe two wide receivers that he throws to all year, and then everyone else will be rotating.
I
But
just think, honestly, when I think about it, like the situation that the Packers are going for, I think they're gonna lean way more on running the ball because now,
yeah,
I mean, they just paid Aaron Jones, and then AJ Dillon all of a sudden they're saying that
yeah,
he's going to be getting a larger snap count. So I don't know. It's the Packers
yeah.
it's interesting
I mean,
to see where that team is going to be.
you
I
got
still
you
think
got
they'll be a good
AJ.
team, but I just don't know how they'll. I mean, they're definitely going to make the playoffs, but I just think
Yeah.
they'll have a tough time once they get there.
You got AJ on your team, and that will lead to your running backs here.
Yeah.
AJ, I mean, is your clear third best running back here besides Saquon and Elijah Mitchell. I think you found a gem in Mitchell, obviously, which finally paid off because you've dropped some running backs in the past, like we said with
Yeah.
Rashad Penny, and you've dropped another running back. I feel like that you've hated to see go, but I forget.
No, I think that's really the only one. I think
Yeah.
if I regret anything, I think it's giving up DJ Moore, but I guess a lot of people have traded him around too.
Yeah,
so
he's the horror of the league.
yeah, he pretty much is. I think he might be the player that might be traded the most.
Yeah,
But
he's up there. And then your wide receivers, I think you are the number one wide receiver group now that Jorge has given up Mike Evans. So I am happy to put you up there, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, I think
And
that's definitely. I mean, obviously, it's a strength of my team. I have a lot of players that are, obviously Stephon Diggs, DK, Debo, T. Higgins is arguably the third or four. Tyler Lockett still rated number 37, I guess. So,
yeah,
in the top 20 wide receivers, I have four. I think
yeah,
that's obviously where the
you're
strength
loaded.
is.
Yeah,
But
you're loaded.
I just truthfully, I know my team is like truthfully speaking, when I look at my team and I rank myself, I'm the one that ranked myself five. Hugo ranked me three. But I think it's really my issue right now is when looking at my team on paper, there's definitely a problem at running back. So I guess we'll see what the future holds. I mean, I have George Kittle at tight end, but the
I mean,
drop off
having
there is kind of steep too with Logan
having Kittle's
Thomas.
a nice safety blanket. But looking at you, I know what you're most pumped for is look at those draft picks, Marty.
Yeah, the draft picks is obviously is what I've been focusing on for my team, and I think on paper I still have a good team, but I also have 1, 2, 11,
You got
15,
a bright future
so
coming up for a
and
little while.
21. So it's a lot of and 22. So it's a lot of draft picks in this year. It's
I
I don't
think
know
you
if
can
it's the
compete
best year to
now.
have all of them. Like when I'm looking
Yeah.
at the draft, it seems like I really want players that are at the top of the draft, and I think there's a pretty steep drop. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
But um, there's always a lot of good value in the second round, and Jorge and I will be looking for it. So
Yeah, I hear you. So, my apologies earlier, Matt. I had thought you were five, but you're coming in at four, buddy. I think your team is huge bounce back here. Than the third to last that you came in last year. So way to improve in the offseason, Matt. Just when we all thought you were on the downward trend, you came back up, man. And
I mean,
I like what you got going on over here. I really do.
I don't think Matt's team is on a downward trend at all when I look at it.
Oh, not anymore. Not
I mean,
anymore.
I don't think he really did, but when I ranked everybody, there was a pretty big. I think Matt might have been the biggest difference. I ranked Matt as a 2, and you ranked him at 5.
I had Matt ranked at number 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
so I
hand
guess
up, that was before this trade. Maybe
That's true.
you'd go for it, but your position in this rank in this algorithm would not have changed.
even before the trade, I had Matt ranked at 2, but and obviously I think Russell
There's a good
Wilson's
team here.
situation. I think honestly, he's ranked number 9. I can see Russell Wilson having great
Your
year.
top
I
five,
think
top five.
he might be a
quarterbacks
running
this
for
year, I think.
MVP candidate. I could definitely see
Mhm.
it because I think that offensive line in Seattle was just doing him dirty. And all of a sudden now he's on a better line. Still got great receivers.
Hell of a run game
Like-
there in Denver.
Sutton and Judy, I think, are gonna reap the benefits of him being there as well as obviously Russell. But I think that team is gonna be a tough team to beat. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling. I mean, obviously they just have a lot of the tools that you want. So
I agree. I agree.
But looking at Matt's team, like this, the reason why I ranked him 2 is, it
Those
just
running
stares me right in
backs.
the face. He's got Dalvin Cook. He's got Jonathan Taylor, the one. Jonathan
Scariest
Taylor being
RB
one
room in the
ranked
league.
RB1, and then Dalvin Cook at number 4 for RBs. So and then he's still got Zeke, and I know Hugo, you traded him away, but I'm
Yep.
still. I mean, I still think that offense is going to be a good offense. He's going to get touchdowns, and I think he's a great 3.
I think he's a great 3, just like you said.
Yeah.
That's what he was on my team. He was
Yeah.
my number 3. So I didn't feel bad letting him go. I think Matt got a fair deal. I think I got a fair deal. I think my return on that is gonna end up paying off.
Yeah.
And but I think Matt's team is definitely gonna contend this year for a championship.
Yep.
And the move to get back into the first round, because I know Matt knows this is the receiver-rich draft, and his need at receivers,
I think when we're looking at Matt's team, so I ranked when I was looking at teams, I thought Matt had the best running back core in the league. When we're looking at wide receivers, it's part of where the problem is for Matt. It's not a bad problem, but I ranked him 8th when it
It's a
came to
concern, I'd say.
receivers. Now, I mean, that's before he acquired Mike Evans.
Yeah,
So I
which
think
is
Matt's
a
definitely taking a
great
big
get.
jump with that.
I wish I knew he was available, but Jorge doesn't.
I think
text back.
Marquise Brown is going to be. He may be a little bit better than where he was last year, but I think he's still going to put up. He's those questionable performances, I think is definitely going to be a thing with him. Like boomer bust is Marquise Brown.
Boomer bust. I see that. He did start off
I
hot
think
last
honestly,
year.
it's
Who knows with a new team if it'll happen again?
with Godwin too. I think it's probably going to be the same thing because
He's got that
now he's got
injury.
Julio, he's got Mike
That's a big
Evans,
question that I
like,
had for
and Chris
Matt
Godwin.
is
Now it's
his wide receivers. He before he traded Michael Thomas, he needed to get healthier at wide receiver, which he did with Mike Evans. Tom Brady throwing to him, not bad.
yeah. I don't think Matt's team's going to have a problem
No,
getting
but
points.
6-game suspension for D Hop. As a former D Hop owner, see ya later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, I don't really like the
He's on the
D-Hop.
downward trend, in my opinion. And so I know Dylan was happy to let go of him. I got stuck with him for an injury-plagued season. I got dirty taste, and here you go,
You know, it
Matt.
just kind of hit me now. Matt has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so he's
Yeah.
just when Matt
And
when my team puts up points, Matt's probably going to be
He's
benefiting
got
one way.
Tampa and Arizona wide receivers
Yeah.
with Hollywood and D Hop. So
I think that
really
offense is
relying
going to
on
put up a
two
lot of
offenses.
touchdowns. So that, like I'm saying, like I honestly, I mean, now knowing that, I think Matt's team's not going to have any problem putting up points from the wide receiver core.
Yeah.
But just owning DK and Lockett, even when they're at their best, I just didn't like it, just because one performs, the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
It's you get a
I
lot of
hear ya.
that, so it
I like
kind of balances
having
out. And
different teams in there now.
And then tight end, well, we'll just move right on. I mean, Robbie Anderson, Palmer. There's not really much to say.
Yeah,
Like I said,
nothing
I
much.
think Matt's team is definitely not ranked 8th anymore when it comes to wide receivers with Mike Evans. But I think there's definitely. I mean, if Matt had another, I think he's definitely looking to draft a wide receiver now.
And then real
I
quick
think that
through
will help
tight
us.
end, right? Dawson Knox, he was a great tight end last year. I know I tried trading for him all of last year, but didn't cave. Finally got Schultz. Thank you. And then he's gonna, if Knox goes down, hopefully he doesn't. But what do you think of Knox and what's behind him, Marty?
I just really don't like. I mean, Dawson Knox, like as your best, like he's definitely good, but he's the ranked TE 13. I feel like there's definitely a lot of better options out there. But I mean, he's on a great offense too, so it's I don't know, it's kind of tough. I just feel like there's a lot of mouths already feeding that offense, so he's just I don't know. I just don't think he's going to be very consistent, and that's what I don't really like from a tight end. But
No.
it's hard to find a good one. So
Yeah, and then who knows about Ingram, 1-year deal in Jacksonville, and then Jonnu. I don't know. He's gonna make the team, but
yeah, Evan Ingram.
that's an
it's just-
ugly
honestly, the
situation with him.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I got to say
Indifferent,
about
I
him.
guess I would say. I mean, the future will tell us how those players play, but I don't really expect much from them.
Agree.
All right. Anyways, so we'll move right on. So we covered Matt.
This is the third in our ranking
We'll
here.
talk about Mr. Rye Guy. How about
Oh,
that?
Coco,
Mr.
number
Bryant.
3.
He's definitely got the biggest ego in the league. But I don't know if it seems best on paper.
Yes. So I think what Coco has here is a win now team that can be very dangerous and can put up points.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully speaking, Brian, I think you have one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I
when I'm
agree.
looking at your team, like we're starting off at the top, quarterback wise, not too keen on. I feel like, I mean, Matt Stafford had a great year last year. He's still got Cooper Kupp. He's still got a lot of weapons
Cousins is
there.
consistent.
I just think he's more, I don't know, on the average side.
Yeah, he's average, but
Like he's not one of the top performers when it comes to like
yeah, I mean, when you have Cooper Kupp
purposes,
putting
like, I
up
don't
those
think
stats,
he'll
right?
ever be in the top 5.
Yeah, when you're
But I think he's at best he'll be in the top 10 and
Oh, I agree.
pretty
But
reliable, I would still say. I don't think you'll really have a problem with like consistency or anything like that. I just think you're just going to get a lot of like 20s to mid 20 points and
yeah, and then Mac is something to look forward to, but that's Daniel Jones. Who knows? He probably won't even be in the NFL next
I don't
year.
really care for Daniel Jones on my team. I think Brian's never going to start him. So
Yep, I agree. Drop him, Coco. Drop him.
I don't know. No one else really I mean, you can keep holding up, Brian. I don't really
Yep.
care.
Yep.
Mac Jones, I feel like obviously he's not going to be really startable too much. Maybe you start him on a bye week, but They're going to be starting Matt Stafford this week.
No. And then
Um,
RB's Marty, Christian McCaffrey, obviously, if he stays healthy,
yeah, I mean
be
McCaffrey's
right
a
at the
beast when he
top.
stayed healthy. Dude's getting riddled up with injuries now, so it's going to be kind of a interesting seeing him
Yep.
come back, and hopefully, obviously, he stays healthy and he performs at the level that he was before. He's, maybe the most valuable running back in the league. But
Yeah, I agree. Joe Mixon, he's slept on.
Joe
I
Mixon is
think
going to
he's
be
very,
good. Joe
very
Mixon,
good.
just that whole offense, I'm very optimistic about. Obviously,
Yeah,
being a
I'd
Burrow
love
fan,
Joe Mixon in a
but
redraft league this year.
But yeah, I just think that offense is just going to be getting points. They're just going to be putting up touchdowns, and
Yeah,
running back wise, like that's what you want. So
yeah. And then you got Lil Davy and Damian Harris there. I think they're pretty comparable players. Based off last
David
year.
Montgomery, like that's another good asset at running back. Like he's for PPR purposes, like it's the running back that
You
kinda
know
want.
what the problem here with these two is, Marty?
First downs. That's what we want in this league.
You know what the problem is with these two, and how I can't believe Coco hasn't gotten ahead of it is they're both on the last year of their contract, and who knows if the respective teams will sign him again. I don't expect Damian Harris to be a Patriot next year. That's my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that situation.
I don't think David Montgomery's going anywhere, but Damian Harris, I would say, I would assume the Bears keep him. I think David Montgomery's too good of an asset to let go, especially when you're like rebuilding. He's young, he's still talented. I think he's a pretty big part of that offense. But Damian Harris, knowing the Patriots, like all of a sudden Damian Harris starts requesting money, Bill's not going to give it to him.
No, I don't think so. Wide receiver situation here. Tyreek Hill on a new team. Very interesting.
Brian's wide receiver situation. I'd say his team is very like you want to be optimistic, right? Because he has Tyreek Hill, new offense on Miami. He has Cortland Sutton, who's got Russ. He's got Judy, who's got Russ. Robinson, who is now what, LA?
Yeah. Who knows? I still don't believe in him.
In like every single one of his players is on a new team.
I traded him, Allen Robinson. I do not believe in him.
I'm not too.
Oh, R.I.P. Tim Patrick. He's since been cut.
I just feel like with Allen Robinson, like Cooper Kupp and Stafford are just so in sync that not a lot of other players really get the work that they want. So it's. Well, I guess we'll see if.
This is where the Denver situation is going to come into play.
I know this Brian's team and the whole Russell situation is hopefully the biggest benefactor because obviously, from what I've been hearing from our podcast or the podcast I listen to, and just the news that I've been looking at for sports, like Sutton is apparently looking a lot better and camp than Judy has. So
yeah, I've been hearing that too.
Yeah, so I've liked Sutton for a while now. He's just been hurt?
Yeah, he's been hurt.
So it's
and talk about another team here, Marty, that has a wide receiver room. Brian has the Chiefs with Juju and MVS.
Brian, I don't feel like you really can't start MVS, but Juju obviously he's probably going to be starting. I think his 4 is going to be probably after a few weeks in Sutton, Hill, Robinson, and Juju, but I think Robinson being the 4.
Yeah, and even the last thing about his receivers, Kendrick Bourne. They say Mac Jones loves him. We'll see if that comes to real life.
There's a lot of players. I feel like Tim Patrick. Like there's just a lot of players that I just wouldn't feel confident starting.
Yeah, I wouldn't start them, but they're nice to hold.
At the same time, you have all players that are on new teams as your top 5. So I feel like Brian's team has. I don't know. It's just a big question mark.
Yeah,
he's receivers go. Obviously, Tyreek Hill and Sutton, I think are definitely going to be good. But Judy and Robinson and Juju, those are where I kind of start scratching my head a bit. But anyways, moving on. Travis Kelce, obviously at tight end. There's the
stud.
number 1.
Nothing much to say. He's great.
Yeah,
he's going to see just as many targets.
Have him on your team, great. And then he's got Tanyan at 2. Don't love it, but now
coming back off an ACL, he's my hashtag done forever player. Ever.
Yeah, truthfully speaking, I don't think. I wouldn't trade for him or anything like that. But
this is a team that'll be drafting a tight end.
That he does well because I think he was good before the injury, and I just think, there's definitely potential, but I don't think he's ever going to get there.
Yeah, this is a big win now team. Like I said, he could put up points here with his RB power with
Yeah, and then, so
McCaffrey.
Brian,
But
and to your point, I think like looking at Brian's team, he's got draft pick number 9,
yeah,
and then draft pick 16, and then
retool
after
there a
that,
little
it's
bit.
done. He's got 46. So
So
he's got
he's
2
gonna
draft picks
retool.
this year. If I'm Brian, I mean, I guess it's really up to him. I mean, his team he's got good players, but there's a lot of question marks at every category that he has. So it could be
Yep.
anybody's guess on who he's drafting.
True.
So
And then what team are we up to here?
anyways, though, to Brian, we rated you at 2.5, which is
Very
tied
solid.
for second best.
With
Which our next person to discuss would be Stephen Beaujolais.
Stevie B, baby, number 2 team here.
Yeah, so
a lot to love here, Marty.
I
A lot to love.
so this is where things got interesting in our ranking system. So Hugo, where did you rank Steve?
I had Steve as my number 1 team. I just think this is the most win now team in the league. With Tyler, he's got all the running backs. I mean, besides Matt, this is the best running back room.
Yeah.
And running backs take you far in this league. That's just my opinion. With solid wide receivers, not great wide receivers. I think Steve's lacking that true number 1. Which who knows what he'll use that number 3 pick? Maybe a wide receiver. I don't know. Or a running back. I don't know where Steve's going with that number 3 pick, but I think wide receiver is the pick here for him. But there's a lot to like all around the board here, Marty.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I think not jumping into your draft, Steve, I ranked you as 4. So basically what Hugo said, I agree with him on a lot of points. So Kyler Murray obviously is a great quarterback to have, and it's obviously a great player to have in sleeper. But and then Trevor Lawrence, hopefully, I think he's still a good asset to have, but I just don't think he's going to be good until at least a few more years, as far as like at least reliable starter. So as far as like quarterbacks go, I think you're probably middle of the pack. But running backs, I had you ranked as 2. So, and I don't think you were very far off from where Matt was.
No, he's right there with him.
Yeah. So obviously Najee. I mean, Matt probably hates to see him go. Derrick Henry, playoff Lenny, and then James Conner out of the blue had
James Conner was
incredible
great
year
last year. So hopefully Derrick Henry's back from that foot injury, and I think he'll be just as back, and they'll
Yeah.
be using and abusing him in Tennessee.
Steve, truthfully, your team was a little weird because J.K. Dobbins, again, he's kind of another question
He's
mark.
a sketch ball.
He can't
He's a
stay
sketch
healthy.
ball.
And then Cordell Patterson how old is he now?
He's in his 30s, but he's a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a weapon. And you just don't really know, especially when people are getting up there with the running backs, like you just don't know when that drop off is there.
He's going to have a hell of a drop off.
Yeah, I think it's soon. And that's why I'm kind of a little skeptical. But like I said, I still think your 1, 2, 3, 4 are just, if not the best, like very close to it.
Yeah.
And then wide receiver wise, like I said, I regret trading away DJ Moore. I still think Amari Cooper is a hell of a weapon. And then
I'm down on Amari Cooper, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I still think it's a great 3. And then Deontay is here 2. But I just don't know, like Corey Davis and Jameson, like this is where the problem is.
Yeah,
on Steve's team.
there needs depth here. Not the greatest wide receiver.
But it's not like a glaring problem. But like we look at other teams on the league, and it's like, okay, like holy crap, like this drop off between 2 to 3 is huge.
Yeah.
But Steve, it's not like that steep of a drop.
It's got 3.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it's definitely something that I guarantee you Steve
see
knows
it.
about. And
He knows it.
yeah,
He knows
and
it.
2, like he's that's what he's probably gonna be focused on his draft.
Yeah. That number 3 is definitely a wide receiver in my
Which
opinion.
is why I rank Steve 4. Like obviously, I think he's still got a good team, and I just don't think that until he drafts another player that he's the best team in the league. And then obviously he's got Kyle Pitts. He's holding on to Gronk. That's Who knows? He's
now.
probably done. But
Yeah, he's probably done. But there's another team that definitely needs a tight end.
truthfully speaking, at this point, like even like if you hold on to Gronk, how many weeks are you gonna get out of it?
Yeah. So
5 or 6,
hopefully
and at that point, he's
Steve,
probably still a question mark. So
hopefully you hit on the draft. This is another team that needs to hit on some picks here. Get youth.
yeah, if I'm Steve, like he probably just hasn't been dropping people yet, but that's probably one of the players he's dropping.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like Kyle Pitts, like Steve's got pick number 3, 1834. Maybe he starts looking at tight ends because I think
He
just
needs
have
step
he
now.
doesn't want to just have one.
Yeah, if Kyle Pitts ever goes down, then I think that's why you landed again the third on Marty's power ranking, and the algorithm spit you up at number 2 because I had you at 1. If we're like, all right, what
Yeah,
roster
tied at
would I
2.
want to go to war with?
You
It
and
would be
Brian.
this.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of really good teams in the league, and I'm like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Vinny or George or Dylan still win.
Yeah, they could come up to the top.
Yeah, and our rankings are just basically before any draft picks go. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about unfortunately the top ranked team that we had
Hey,
according to both of us.
The
and all
algorithm
the
might
nerds
not lie here,
in
Marty.
New York.
It might not lie. But
Yeah,
I like what I got going on, and hopefully it pays off.
yeah. So I'll kind of dissect your team a little bit, and you can because I technically I ranked the reason why he goes first is because I ranked his team first. So I will tell him what I saw and why I
Yeah,
liked it.
I had my personal ranking. I gave myself number 3.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely a drop in a few picks. So I mean, obviously looking at Hugo's team, like he's got Herbert at quarterback. You're not really going to start anybody else unless Herbert goes down. His second option is Tannehill and then Garoppolo. So obviously, like
room for improvement there.
yeah, and when it comes to quarterbacks, to Hugo's point, like there is room for improvement, but when it comes to quarterbacks in general, I really don't think you really need too many quarterbacks.
You don't get better than that.
You have your one, you have your backup, and you just hope that backup is sufficient.
That's my strategy.
Yeah. So if I was you, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I would definitely be, you have draft picks 5 and 14 and 35. So I mean 35. Well, 5 and 14. Obviously, you could probably get a quarterback. Probably not this
Retool.
draft, but
I'll tell you straight up,
be fine.
I will not be drafting a quarterback with my first 2 picks. I don't like them this year. I don't think it's a good QB draft. So
That's what they all say. But anyways, we don't have to talk about what you're going to be drafting because nobody knows.
Who cares?
But anyways,
cares?
I just really liked your running backs, which Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, Cam Akers at 3, and then Stevenson at 4. So he's got 9, 12, and 18 when it comes to the RB ranks. And like Aaron Jones, obviously, he's going to be the guy now. Like, like AJ Dillon, just even with AJ Dillon, if it's true what they say about the 50-50 like snap count, I feel like that team is just that offense is going to be moving. There's going to be points dispersed, and Aaron Jones is going to be.
Yeah, I still have high hopes for him, which is why I hold him to such high regard. What I've done with my RB room is go for the youth. Really relied on the young talent because I've traded away other running backs in the past that are either in a bad contract situation or Zeke and Pollard to Matt lately, but it's because I still believe in these guys.
Yeah, and then I mean Javonte Williams as the number 2. It's his sophomore year.
And
so he's already like established in that backfield, and that offense is now even better with Russ.
Yeah,
like all of a sudden, like he's.
I expect a big year.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's a ton of optimism when it comes to that team, the Broncos, and it's. He's definitely going to be the guy as far as running backs go. So if I had him, I'd be happy.
No.
And then same thing goes with Cam Akers, still young, still talented, and Darrell Henderson had a great year as a back, running back team, and now it's Cam Akers.
I think the Rams are going to abuse him.
Yeah,
and really feed him.
I still think Darrell Henderson will still get a decent amount of handoffs, but I just think Cam Akers is going to run away with that backfield, and that offense is still going to be clicking.
Yeah.
Just he's going to be getting touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, if he.
Yeah, I took him because of the contract situation.
Yeah,
that's why I loved him. I don't see Damian Harris coming back. This is RB1 in the making. I see it.
Yeah, I think he's definitely have some weeks where you can probably start him, and then you have room at wide receiver, not really where to start him.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's what I was kind of seeing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I ranked Hugo's wide receivers at 4. I ranked his wide receiver, or sorry, running backs at 4, his wide receivers at 4. And I just think there's just a lot of depth in both categories. He might not have the best in the league, but
Consistency.
he's got a lot of depth, which with an extra flex position is going to help a lot. And that's why I think he's will be the best team in 2022. But in wide receiver 4, A.J. Brown, dude had a ridiculous finale
Yeah.
of the season. Jalen Waddle, already young, established,
Love him. I
talented,
set the
already got
PPR or
touchdowns on that team.
catching record as a rookie, which was very impressive.
Yeah, now obviously, he's got Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
which is going to be interesting to see how
Good or
that
bad.
changes, but
I'm kind of nervous there.
I don't know if Tyreek Hill can take all of his touchdowns away. I think he'll still do. I think he'll get probably what we expect, but not like a ridiculous. I still think he'd be like really solid for the sophomore.
Yeah. So I pride myself on the depth. That's what I really why I have done some trades the way I have, because I got some young receivers in the making that I'm not going to get too into, but I like my youth and first and second year receivers, and now my star power at the top 2. Again, with the new format that we're doing things, Marty, I think having depth is more important than ever.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, and that's why. I mean, that's why I had to just rank Alex and Brennan on the bottom, because they're the teams that are really missing the depth, and I think this is the year where it's really going to count. So
yeah, and then lastly on tight end, I felt like I was a tight end away, and getting Dalton Schultz, I'm very excited.
I think Dalton Schultz is definitely like,
but no Amari Cooper.
I mean, it's not like you're really going to be hurting that tight end if Dalton Schultz stays healthy. Like it's not like you're really going to have to be fighting for points at tight end. I think he's going to be, better than most. So
yeah, he's going to be a solid one. And then I'm happy with my draft picks I got coming 5 and 14. Hopefully, I had 2 starter quality players, and but I appreciate you putting me at 1.
Yeah, I think I really just
rankings,
enjoyed your running backs, and then also your 4 starters at wide receiver: A.J. Brown, Waddle, Mike Williams, who's getting
stack with Herbert.
touchdowns with Herbert. Yeah, and then I think Mooney. He's probably gonna just have a good year just based on receptions.
Yeah. I think he's the go-to in Chicago, and I've been hyping him up because I feel like a lot of people are seeing the hype.
Yeah, and then Ayuk and Van Jefferson, they're guys that you probably don't really want to start consistently, but I think you really need to
Ayuk
start somebody.
with Trey Lance is very interesting and something I'm keeping my eye on for sure.
Yeah, you holding on to Jalen Reagor, dude? You gonna drop him?
Jalen Reagor, TBD, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
So he's available in trade talks if anyone's interested.
Yeah, and
I call that the Vinny.
Lastly, I'll say about your team, I think when just looking at your team, it's just very, very balanced, and I think that's kind of what you want. And I think with Hugo, if he loses a player to an injury or anything like that,
I can survive it.
It's still going to be okay. I think there's a lot of teams out there that that can make you break them, and I think with you, I don't think you'll have a problem with that.
No,
maybe tight end.
Yeah, but so guys, that is the rankings. Marty, I think what we have going on here is gonna be freaking awesome. I'm excited about it. We're gonna try and do something for right before the draft, just what we think, have a pre-draft show, and then regular season's right around the corner, Marty.
Yeah, so we're I mean we'll talk about things as they come up. We can talk about trades too as they happen throughout the offseason. I think
I'm not opposed to even mini short episodes about a trade.
Exactly. I mean, we'll talk, and even if people want to, talk on an episode or just come with us and record something, it'll be fun. So
yeah, and then God forbid we have a controversy.
Yeah,
Marty, if we have a controversy, this podcast is gonna pop off. It's going to be great. The truth is going to be recorded on video. You cannot deny it. And it's going to be awesome.
People always want to talk about rule changes too. So maybe we can even get into the nitty gritty sometimes. Obviously, some people are a lot more passionate about rule changes and how they're going to affect their team, and so it might be a good way for people to express themselves.
Yep.
So we'll
I'm excited.
we'll use it as that. We'll have a good time with it, and if you're listening, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is exciting that you made it this far and talking dirty with Nana.
Nana, she loves to talk dirty, but
Yeah,
we'll leave it at
baby.
that. Hope you all have a great night. Adios.